Aloha, it's Dave Lawrence. How you doing? Big mahalo for tuning in. I appreciate it. Today we are lucky to get some time with a well-known and respected lead vocalist whose distinctive voice and style make him one of hard rock's most popular singers. Back in December of 2007, I was fortunate to have him as a guest on the air in Honolulu when he took time to call me. Today he returns, calling in on the release day of their latest album. It must be a very busy day of talking to lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of people. It's their 12th studio record of originals dedicated to chaos. It's in stores now, and it's a privilege to reconnect with an intelligent, thoughtful, charismatic gentleman. His voice has brought people a lot of good vibes and inspiration through the years. And I offer a warm aloha and welcome to Queensryche's Geoff Tate. Aloha, brother Geoff.
Hey, Dave. How are you? That's a beautiful introduction. Wow. Very nice.
Well, you're totally, thank you for that. You're worthy of it. It's always a pleasure to get to talk to you, man. And
all right. How have you been?
I've been good. I don't know if you remember, but it was like back in 2007, right when the Covers record came out. We did a long interview back at my other station, K-Poi.
I do remember.
For your thing. It was cool. You had one of my greatest stories ever, telling the Kiss story about the Diana Ross Cher cat fight backstage. Thanks for taking some time for us.
Oh, you bet. My pleasure.
You haven't since we last time we caught up. It was in December of 2007. You had some kind of laryngitis or something. You were getting ready to go on this trip to Italy, as I recall. And I was just back from seeing Zeppelin at the O2 Arena like the day before or something. Hey, you haven't secretly come to the island since then, have you?
You know, I haven't been to Hawaii since probably, I'm guessing maybe 2001, something like that. It's been a while.
Well, then I feel good. Not that you haven't been here, but mind you, but that I didn't miss a little visit with the family. You got to do a visit out here, my brother. What's your personal history with coming here? How many times have you been?
I've only been once, and I've only been to the Big Islands, and I was there when, I think it was 2001, maybe 2000, something like that, and I'd like to get back. In fact, we've just been talking about that lately, going back to Hawaii. For everyone in the family wants to get back there, so we'll probably be showing up sometime this year, end of the year, maybe. You're
thinking you and the kids and the old lady and stuff, you're not talking about the band?
Well, the band, we'd love to play there. We just have we've never played there. It's the only state in the United States that we've never played in.
Wow. Yeah, that's right. I saw you gigged in Delaware the other day.
Yeah, we've been everywhere many times, but never Hawaii.
Right. Yeah. Well, that would be people would certainly be interested in having you. We have a string of bands coming too. I was just telling my mom, I guess it was. We've got Puddle of Mud, Paramore, now Korn, and Incubus all coming. So,
wow.
The time is right, my brother.
Have to get there.
The time is right. So congrats on Dedicated to Chaos. Is there a story at all to the album title?
Well, chaos is that place where creativity comes from, and the band is definitely dedicated to creativity. And the album itself is a collection of songs. There's no theme that runs through it other than it being a commentary on modern life, which I think every song is that. We really wanted to concentrate on this record and create a collection of songs rather than working with a theme on this time. And it's a cool collection. It's a lot of different types of Queensryche, really. It's kind of a real chaotic blend of all kinds of different styles of music.
I'm just digesting Get Started, which, after hearing it over and over, which I like to do when I find a new song I like, I kind of abuse the song for a while. Just keep
that too.
keep playing it over and over. I just can't get it out of the deck. And it has that, and I could be totally wrong, and of course you'll correct me if I am, but based on your background and our shared sort of love of certain bands, I just, you know what, it reminded me of Hot Rockin', like early 80s Priest, that tune.
Oh, really?
That's what I heard, brother.
Okay, well, everybody hears things differently. That's cool.
What are you hearing from other folks?
Well, on that one, I wasn't really thinking about any style of music in particular or any other band. It was just a cool riff that came to us, and we started, brainstorming on it. And it kind of had a bit of a let's look back a little bit kind of feel to it, a little retrospective kind of feel to it. So we wrote the lyrics based around that.
But it also had that future feel of you ain't seen nothing. Like, we're just getting started. It had that. That's what, I don't know, dude. I could just hear Brother Rob singing that stuff. I don't know. I was like, I could just see myself. I was back at the Philly Spectrum. It was like 1984. And there he was singing your song. I don't know. But is there any feeling, you mentioned it sort of before, but, when this isn't a concept record, and in a lot of ways, you guys are known for that because you didn't just do them. A lot of people have done them. You did it really, really well, and it was like amazing what you did. And is there ever a feeling of restriction that you need to deliver maybe not just a concept thing, but maybe a certain sound that's expected by the fans in the marketplace? Because you're getting older, I'm getting older, your fans are getting older. But is it a battle ever between your inner vision and where you are personally and what you think you need to do to make money and sell these things?
Well, I'm not much of a businessman, really. I'm really a musician, and that's always the way I think, is in terms of, well, how does it make me feel? Do I dig it? Does the band like it? Is it something that we can deliver? That's really what we think about at all times. And it's up to the record company to sell it,
That's nice. So you're saying it never bleeds in any way? No.
It's, in fact, I think every one of our records has always met with an initial hesitation by our fans, Not one of them I can remember ever putting out that everyone just jumped on the bandwagon and said, "Oh, this is great." It always takes a little while for them to digest what it is we're doing, and we're always a couple steps ahead, I think. And I think that's a good place to be. I'd rather be ahead than behind.
But the reason I ask it, and let me put it in some context. So I just talked to Kimani Marley the other day. Yeah, he's one of Bob's 11 kids. And I was like, is there some pressure on you to uphold his legacy? And he was like, there is. There's a lot. How can he come different with a whole different message right now? So I guess I'm just thinking, you've set up what Queensryche is about through all these generations. And sure, it has changed somewhat, and you've grown amazingly as an artist. But I'm just always curious, because it's like, I wonder if you ever feel like, man, what I'm really trying to do might be so different than Queensryche. Maybe it should go on a solo record.
Yeah, we really don't think in that kind of realm, really. We're just pretty much about the now, what we're doing now and what's interesting to us.
What are the songs on the new record that you're most proud of or emotionally connected to?
Oh, all of them, really. When you make a record, you're pretty invested in it emotionally. At least for me, I don't know how to do it any other way. So it's really a kind of a diary of where you're at, as a person at any given moment, that's actually at a specific time, really. And you're pretty connected to everything. It's your art. It's what comes out of you. It's what you're feeling. It's what's important to you.
Yeah, I can understand why you would feel that way. Do you ever think, Geoff, as that there's like a twilight era for the world of the record because of the way things are going, like bands almost going back to doing singles?
Yeah, it's definitely moving in that direction, and it's actually a really amazing time to be alive right now, because there's just so much change going on in the world, and we're all so connected, for the first time in history, that we're witness to things that are going on all over the world. We're connected to it, so you're seeing not just changes in technology, which is kind of evident, but social changes, political changes. Climate changes, everything is happening right now. So, you're seeing the demise of all the record companies falling apart, and, the movie industry is hurting now as well, and pretty much any intellectual property business is, kind of going down the drain. So everyone's kind of scrambling and trying to figure out what they're going to do and how they're going to make ends meet and how they're going to make this new frontier work for them, So, on one hand, I guess you could get kind of bitter about it and, kind of pine away for the old days, but, it ain't going away. It is what it is nowadays, so you have to kind of find a way to make it work. So on that note, it's pretty exciting, because all the rules are changing, and so you don't have to stick with the old way of doing things. You can dream up your own way of doing things, which is really exciting.
On that tip, some bands, and I wonder if you guys do this or are into that, when you were saying that, it just made me think of some groups are harnessing the internet and being able to be like, all right, well, we're going to webcast every single show on the tour, and you can buy like one show for $20 or whatever, a small package of dates for X number, or you can get the whole tour and watch every night live. And is that something you guys have approached or thought about approaching?
Absolutely. Yeah. That's one of the things that's really exciting nowadays is the recording of music has really changed dramatically. And, you can do so much now with so little, which is fantastic. There used to be, you'd have to go into these real expensive studios and put time in there, and it was incredibly expensive to make a record. And nowadays, you can do it all on your laptop and take it with you. You can work on it on the airplane or the train or whatever you're riding around in. So it's constantly with you, and you're constantly in creative mode, which is fantastic.
Because the internet is screwing up. It's messing with books. It's messing with newspapers, movies, music, but the live model still maintains that place where you guys can make a lot of dough, and yet you can sort of harness the live model to the hardcore fans and offer them that option. It's sort of like, I guess in the next several years, I imagine a lot of bands will be turning towards that kind of direction.
Oh yeah. There's really no other way right now. I think in the next 5 years you're going to see the end of all the record companies. By then they're just all going under. There's no way they can economically keep up, with the illegal downloading. It's just gutted everything,
So you feel it yourself. So when I ask you that, so you really do see this is the twilight of the album, huh?
Well, I think it's the twilight of the record industry as we knew it, and it's the beginning of something different. And what that is, what that different thing is, I couldn't tell you at this moment, but it's definitely moving somewhere.
Since we last spoke, a pretty monumental thing actually happened, and it's sort of part of all these changes. As we talked about some changes here, we lost Ronnie, and as a vocalist, who's a really heavily respected vocalist, I was curious if you could talk about what he meant to you and maybe share some of your personal experiences of having had him as an artist on an album.
Well, Ronnie was directly influential to Queensryche in our formative years. First off, with his art, with his music. And secondly, he was the first artist to take us on tour with him. And really showed us the ropes. We were all young kids, and he was showing us, what to do, what not to do. And he was very, very helpful in kind of guiding us in the early days. And then later he offered me a spot on a benefit album that he was doing called Stars. Sang on a song on that. And that was a great experience working with a lot of really well-seasoned singers and guitar players and musicians. And over the years, we kind of collided in a number of different places around the world on tour, festivals, things like that. And then we had the wonderful opportunity of working together, and I think it was 2006. He sang a lead vocal part on the Mindcrime 2 album, and so we got to work together again for the last time, actually. And Ronnie was a really great man, not just a wonderful musician, but a really good person. Always very giving and open, and he was one of those kind of guys that always remembered your name, even if he'd met you once. Had a great memory for that kind of thing. And he also was very aware of his presence, amongst other people. He never made you feel like you were on the outskirts. He always brought you into the circle, and he did that with everyone. He just made you feel at home, and you kind of forgot who he was, his image and all that. You forgot that he was this guy that had been around for years and years and years and had done all these things. You just kind of felt like you were hanging out with a friend. I
totally remember the two times I met him. He always remembered. I remember the second time, remember my name, just like you said. Yeah, he's very down to earth, accessible sort of cat. Is there a favorite moment or a story or something that you think of when you're thinking of him positively and maybe your time together?
Oh yeah, there's lots of them. When we first went out on tour with him, we arrived at the venue, and he came into our dressing room and invited us all down to his dressing room for dinner. And he had a whole Indian buffet laid out and drinks and cocktails, and he introduced us personally to everyone on the crew and all his assistants and everyone, so we felt part of the tour. And it was just a wonderful experience, being treated like that. And being a young guy, and this is our first tour, I thought, oh, this is a great, kind of mixture, kind of meet everybody. This is great. And I thought, well, maybe this is just the way it always happens. And it never happened again with anybody else. Any band we ever toured with, nobody ever invited us into their dressing room on the first day of the tour. In fact, we did many tours where we never even met the band that we were opening for.
Wow.
It was kind of a one-of-a-kind thing for Ronnie. He was a one-of-a-kind guy.
And that's cool. That's special that would be. And never any catfights of the proportion of that Diana Ross Cher one that you shared, no pun intended, the last time we chatted. You've never seen anything quite like that, or have you?
Well, that was definitely an interesting place to be at that time to watch that sort of thing happen. Yeah. But no, I haven't seen anything like that happen since.
And good for you. We don't want you to have to. What as we wrap it up here, the wars. Where are you on the on Iraq and Afghanistan? I know you actually have some stories of being over there, and we're the most militarized states. We got a lot of people here who probably appreciate hearing your thoughts.
Well, we did the American Soldier album, our last studio album.
Yep.
It was an amazing experience. We interviewed all these different soldiers from a number of different conflicts as far back as World War II and all the way up to the present, and really got a first-hand look at how people feel about going into war, from the soldier standpoint. And we finally got to go to Iraq last year, which was a real treat. And we were over there for 2 weeks doing shows around the country, and flying in and out of bases as a guest of the military. And got even closer, to what it was like to be a soldier. We were living with the soldiers and traveling with them, and it was amazing doing that album there. Being in Iraq, playing those songs from American Soldier, which are songs that were written from the soldier standpoint, created from these interviews, and playing those songs for those people that were there and watching their reaction to them was amazing. In fact, I wish we could have gone to Iraq before we wrote the album. That would have been really, really helpful. But heavy experience, going over there, seeing what it was really like. It's one thing to watch the news and you get kind of a skewed opinion on what is happening, but then when you go and you're there and you're seeing what the soldiers go through every day, it's a whole different thing. And one place we went to was under fire when we landed, mortar fire, and we had to go right from the airplane into bunkers for about 2 hours and wait while they cleared the area. And then while we were there, we were under attack again. In fact, a mortar blew up about 100 yards from where I was standing. In fact, if it hadn't gone off behind this building, the building was between me and the bomb, I probably wouldn't be talking to you right now because it was that close, and it was so incredibly loud and explosive it shook the ground. And definitely a scary place to be, especially for a guy like me who's not a soldier, who's not prepared for that kind of thing, It wasn't like we always think, the 4th of July is pretty rowdy. Well, it's nothing like that. It's like 4th of July times 100.
I can imagine. Yeah, we got a lot of cats over there from the islands, and we just lost a couple the other day. It's certainly hard rock is always really a favorite, too, of our soldiers. So I know there's some synergy there on your musical passions. Ever been to Afghanistan, too?
No, we haven't had the opportunity to go there yet, but we have our bid in for it to go. They say it's a little too hot to bring people in yet. So hopefully within a few months from now we'll have that opportunity again, because I definitely go. I go today if they said we could go.
Yeah, I think American Soldier is pretty cool, and it's a neat concept from a band that obviously have been able to do the concept record in a compelling way. So you're to be credited for that. Hey, keep in mind, Geoff, we got a lot of bases and soldiers here. Maybe you could do a USO gig here too.
Hey, that'd be great. Absolutely.
Gary Sinise, Gary Sinise, the actor.
I've never met him, but I know who he is. Yeah.
Yeah, he does a lot of stuff. He did this thing out here earlier this year. That's what gave me the idea, just as you were talking. Well, we'll keep it in mind, and certainly I've enjoyed talking to you today. And as a final note, I know that you have this passion and interest that we didn't really touch base on at all. It's on a real different level. Wine. How did you develop that? What was it that made you, besides just being, I guess, a fan of drinking it, what made you want to go a step further, I guess?
Oh, well, it's one of those things that has developed throughout my life, traveling and going to different countries and sampling different wine from different parts of the world. I just had developed a real love of it, and a passion for the construction of it and how different it is everywhere you go. And I just happen to live in the second largest wine production area in the United States, Washington State. And we have an incredible wine industry here. Met a lot of winemakers, and one of my really close friends who I met several years ago, Holly Turner, called me up one day and she goes, I have an idea. How about we go in together and we make wine together? And the more we talked about it, the more we got excited about it and started doing it. And so that was about 5 years ago we started. And so we just released our third vintage this spring. And we do a red and a white, and they're Bordeaux-style blends done with Washington grapes. And it's called Insania.
Are you growing them all, or are you buying grapes from other growers too?
Yeah, we grow from several different vineyards here in Washington State, and to make our wine, we source from a number of different places, but it's all Washington grown grapes.
Proud of you, brother Geoff. It's very cool.
Yeah, it's a fun industry. I tell you, it's really growing by leaps and bounds here, and we're making wines that are becoming internationally known. I've seen them on menus all through Europe now, which is great. Absolutely great.
You're saying you're seeing your stuff on people's menus in Europe?
Yeah, well, not my stuff in particular because we don't have the licenses to go overseas yet, but I'm seeing other wineries from Washington.
Right, and it's giving you a vision of where you can be going.
Yeah, well, we're distributed in 48 states now, so it's taken us not long to get all the licensing together because every state has different rules and laws that you have to adhere to. So it takes a while to procure all these licenses. So hopefully within the next few years we'll have licenses to go overseas.
What are the two states you're missing?
I believe it's Hawaii and Alaska.
That's just not right.
Yeah, I know.
We have to change that. I'm getting started on that today. I'll let you know where we go with that.
All right. Thanks, Dave.
You're welcome. Brother Geoff, seriously, dude, I hope this wasn't a pain in the ass. I appreciate it. It was a lot of fun to catch up with you, man.
Yeah. Thank you very much for the interview. I appreciate it.
Cool. Wasn't boring, was it? Was it all right?
That was great.
All right.
Good conversation.
All right. Yeah, I was trying to make something for you. That's it, brother. I high five you. I give you a hug. And seriously, stay in touch, man. I love talking to you. I really do. I wish we could talk to you more than every 4 years.
Yeah, we should do this more often. Thanks again, Dave. Appreciate it, man.
You're welcome. Please be safe and keep us in mind. If you're ever going to be out here, you better look me up, brother.
Oh, I definitely will. Thank you.
Take care. Be safe, brother.
All right. See ya.
Aloha.